Hey all, here at Book Talk Reviews. You're watching our video review of The Cherry Orchard. This is a play, or the last play, published by Russian playwright Anton Chekhov before his death. And it's designed originally as a comedy, but it's also been interpreted widely as a tragedy. The interesting thing about this play is it has quite a bit of historical background. Chekhov himself was actually a doctor as his primary role in society, and he actually said that, to me, writing is like a mistress, and so it's actually a hobby of his, and rather than something of a main career or main passion. Essentially, the play kind of takes place around 40 years after the emancipation of serfdom by the Tsar, and after this there's been quite a bit of change in society. Rather than having the landed gentry be kind of the wealthiest, and basically it was a society run by legacy instead of by wealth. Now we're still the newer society that was being depicted by Chekhov in The Cherry Orchard meant that people with more money had a higher position in society, and so rather than just title, rather than just legacy. So you could actually work your way up if you had more money and did hard work, rather than you had to be born into a certain class to have that certain amount of power. So it was interesting. It depicted a society that was changing, and it was also intriguing because at this time Russian society was also behind most of Europe in terms of industry. And so Chekhov designed this play to say, oh, look at how bad our lives are, and now we can laugh at it because the future will be brighter. But it's also been quite tragic because, it depicts a pretty miserable time, and that's where the tragedy element comes from. Now, essentially, the play itself is oriented around a main protagonist called Yubov, and she is part of the landed gentry. She's really wealthy, but she's kind of lost her husband, and so she's lost her money, and she comes back to her estate after being in Paris for a while, and she finds that things are no longer as they once were, and that she's running out of money, and she has to find a way to solve her money, or she'll be bankrupt, and she'll have to sell her estate at an auction. And there's a lot of illusion going on, both to the idea of the cherry orchard, which is on the outside of the house, which readers are never actually in. They're basically in the house the entire time. And there's also introduction of other characters that represent the different sectors of society, both the lower class and the higher class. And throughout the progression of the play itself, we find that the main protagonist basically doesn't change, and that's pretty interesting. And whereas the other characters kind of change for better or for worse, she remains the same, and so it's a bit of a tragic ending, at least in my opinion. And overall, it's pretty well written. It definitely has a nice pacing to it, and the characters are kind of funny, I think. Some of the characters are designed to have quite a bit of humor to it. It's easy to understand, it's easy to digest, despite originally being in Russian instead of in English, and so I think it's pretty enjoyable. It's also a pretty short text, which you can probably get through in about, I would say, a day without much effort. So it's definitely worth a while if you're interested in that history element. If you want something that's comedic, but also has an interesting kind of twist on it, I would say go ahead and check out The Cherry Orchard. We would rate this play, or the work itself, 3.8 stars out of 5, and you can check out our full written review on our website. Thanks for watching.